We are connecting with the lives. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Gotta check to see what's happening, but we can get started. I'm gonna work on the technical piece. I don't want to hold nobody up right now. Welcome. And now people are coming in. This is the Empower Hour. For those of you who don't know, my name is Keisha, and I am founder of the Wellness Connection. And this is our monthly Empower Hour where we just take on topics that affect us in our communities and hopefully empower you to be your own healer, to be in charge of your own wellness journey because we are able to write our own stories and create our own destiny. We are not any of these things that, we are labeled in terms of illnesses and diseases, but we have the power to combat them and conquer them. So welcome and thank you all for joining in. Thank you for taking the time for yourself to be with us. And we are going to start with some introductions. So again, my name is Keisha. I am a licensed clinical social worker. I'm also a yoga instructor. And I like to incorporate as many different aspects of healing as I can into mental health because it's not just about one thing, but it's about building your toolkit. And I have a group practice, so there are other people that I love to collaborate with, and I am about building community. So this is part of our community. And if you are not already following us on social media, we're the Wellness Connection, and we have our Facebook community, Wellness Warriors, that you can join in. And today we have with us Monique Siders and Mama Moot. I'm going to briefly introduce them and then give them the floor to talk about what they do. So Moot Rot is the founder, that's Mama Moot, is the founder of Cycle Breaking Womb Keepers, a lifestyle and wellness movement devoted to supporting cycle breakers through mindful self-care, Reiki practices, and cyclical living. Rooted in compassion, wisdom, and presence, her work bridges personal healing with family harmony and community well-being. Through red, purple, and blue tents, her ebooks, and everyday rituals of self-awareness, she empowers generations to live with clarity, resilience, and sacred intention. And I'm going to give a personal testimony that Mama Moot holds space for all of us, including myself, and I'm so grateful to have her as part of my community.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And we also have Monique Siders, who I recently met and instantly clicked and just saw her light like as soon as I met her. So Monique, also known as Monique Nubia Sunshine, and I actually didn't even do that intentionally. When I said that you shine, you do shine. She brings over a decade of holistic healing experience to her role as wellness director, specializing in supporting women who have experienced childhood trauma and life stage transitions. Certified in yoga, meditation, Reiki, herbalism, and Thai yoga massage, Monique has been offering transformative healing practices since 2012, deeply rooted in ancient wisdom traditions and embody wellness. There's more, but I'm going to let oh, we just lost her for a second. I'm gonna let, I guess, Monique, if you want to tell us more about yourself until we get Mama Moot back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, all of the services on top of becoming a menopause specialist, working with ladies actually from puberty to postmenopause, because I believe that puberty is the beginning stages of going towards that menopause. So, and what I do is I service the community with events, giving them knowledge and understanding on what's happening with the body, and what remedies that they can manage on their own, along with advocating with them with their physicians. So I do a lot of community work, as well as teaching sewing classes, but that's another story. But that's the basis of it. My work is all about the sisters and the women and just elevating us to the next level.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yes.
And I want to also introduce my partner in crime, if you're able. I'm not sure if you're able to come off mute, Camilla. Um, but Camilla has been supporting the wellness journey with financial wellness. Um, so together we try to cover physical, mental, spiritual, and financial. And hopefully if you have a chance, join in, or if you can post your information in the chat as well, Camilla. And we have Mama Moot back with us. And whenever you're ready, Mama Moot,
Sorry
please.
about that. I had
It's
to check my
fine. It's
computer,
fine.
had to charge up my computer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tell us a
so
little bit about yourself.
oh yes, I like the introductory. I love being a cycle breaker. And the title of my movement is Cycle Breaking Womb Keepers. We are cycle breaking womb keepers. We are all here because we are the cycle breaker in our family. We are the one that looked through the family line and said, nah, I ain't doing it that way. And we chose to do something different. And the word womb keeper, the meaning of that is a person who makes that commitment for themselves to deep dive into themselves and try to figure out what we want, what we need. And from that space, we serve others. From that space, we teach by examples. So that's how the word came to me, cycle breaking womb keepers. And my story as a mother and my mother is my whole drive. My mother passed away at 32 with six of us, and I was the middle child from kidney disease. So I always called to the universe, please teach me how to take care of myself. I didn't want to go out too very young. So I am my parents' wildest dreams made manifest. So because of my mom and my father's presence, because my father passed away before his 40s too. And I know that I'm living everything that they wanted to live. So
Mm,
every time I got to me in my 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, I'm like, look, y'all, look what we have done, you know?
yeah.
I not only saw my children grown, but I have grandchildren, y'all. I have bonus children, and bonus sons and daughters. So it's an honor to be called Moot. Moot in Kemetic language means mother. So when you call me forth, you call my mothering for me to mother myself and to mother everybody else. And that's all I love to do, because I had to learn how to mother myself. And so many elders back in the day came forth to teach me how to mother myself. And from that, my children was the core of me learning how to mother myself. Having children, they will teach you a lot. And after three sons and having a daughter, I knew my life would change. She changed my whole life. Because nothing like having a girl after having three boys, if anybody could testify to that. So that's me. And I love teaching women how to live by their cycles, whether it's during birthing phase or menopause, because it's a whole nother ball game. So I tried to be a doula after I quit my job of 20 plus years. I tried to be a doula, but women wasn't prepared for birth in 2 months or 3 months. It wasn't possible. And I needed my sleep. I couldn't stay up all night with the mothers. I'm like, I can't do this no more. I want to teach women how to take care of themselves every month on their cycles, connect that way. Because that's what I learned through Sacred Woman. I learned how to honor my womb. I found out, my womb was sacred. My womb was sacred. Every part of me was sacred. I'm like, what? Queen of Four said, take a mirror and look down there. I was surprised and I was lit to know that my womb was sacred. Every part of her was sacred. And it changed my whole entire life and outlook on healing myself from the inside out. So you'll see, I can go on and on about this topic. This is my favorite topic, but I'm complete. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Good, thanks. Does anybody want to chime in, introduce themselves, let us know who you are and why you're here. We have our panelists and we like to welcome and invite open conversation. So if anyone wants to join in, you are definitely welcome and please do not hesitate, you know. But I always say everything's an invitation, nothing's an obligation. So you are invited and however you show up is honored. Okay, so we'll move to our first question, and that is, what does sacred reset, what does sacred rest mean to you? Aside from taking a nap. So when you hear the word sacred rest, what does it mean?
You speaking to either one of us?
Either one of you. Yeah.
Okay. Sacred rest for me is finding some inner peace. For me, it always starts with the mind, my thoughts, my concerns. Um, Nothing like inner peace. Once you have made peace with whatever's going on, that softness, that release, it's everything. So my answer would be finding that inner peace.
Beautiful. What about you, Monique?
Yes, the sacred rest for me is acknowledging the body, because the body is always going to show me um, in what areas or when I need to take a break and when I need to rest. We talked about taking a nap, and I could say in my younger years, I ignored a lot of the signals and the signs where my body said to sit down and be quiet. And sacred rest for me is taking those moments to acknowledge, through my body, when it's time for me to sit down and be silent and pay attention to what's going, because I'm also getting messages. So that sacred rest allows me to be able to get the messages too.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. And both of you are aligned, right? Just sort of
Mm-hmm.
taking that pause and being still and allowing the messages to come in and realize what you need and then gaining that inner peace and clarity through that. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Does anybody else want to share their thoughts about sacred rest? Oh, y'all are quiet today. So, for either one of you, and maybe I like to do a little ping pong. I play ping pong, so I'll start with Monique this time, and then Mama
Okay.
can answer after. Was there a
Hmm.
moment in your life when rest shifted from being optional to something that was necessary and essential?
Yes.
Before we go there, somebody put something in the chat. I want to acknowledge someone. I can't say her
Yes, thank you,
name.
Zola. That's Sacred Woman Zola, our sister here. Sacred rest also feels like getting the rest our ancestors didn't get. I rest well sometimes in memory of my G-mom, who was also working up until the last days before she passed. Yes. Good.
I
Thanks for
agree with
that.
that. I agree with that. When I think about all my elders, my ancestors that passed away, they just was in that survival mode, y'all. They just didn't know how to stop. Strokes run in my family, and once they had a stroke, my grandmother, she just kept going. She didn't have it. She didn't get that chance to survive after the stroke. And that says a lot about when the body's trying to tell us, like you said, to stop and slow down and stuff, and we still on the grind. Gotta do, gotta do. I mean, my grandmother just didn't know how to stop. So
Right.
thank you for bringing that up.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Yes, that kind of puts me in the position of the next question that you asked. Was it a time where it was an option? I think that's what you had said,
It
versus
wasn't
it being
optional. Yes, it became essential.
essential. I didn't realize in my youth that um, grinding was how we talked. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, you got to hustle hard if you want to get this, and you got to do this and do that. And then being a single mom, all you know how to do is get up and do, get up and do. And a lot of times I was on autopilot. And so I felt like then it wasn't an option because I had to be on autopilot. I was a mom at a young age. I didn't even get to learn who I was. And so since then, I got into the rhythm and the habit of just doing and doing and being on go all the time, that by the time at the end of the evening, I didn't even realize that I didn't take a deep breath any time of the day. And so um, it was, it became a necessity when my body said enough. And that had to be about, I will be honest with you, it had to be about 2 years ago. And my body went through a major shift, not just within menopause, because I was already postmenopausal, but my body was like, you're still doing too much. You're still not listening to us. You're still not hearing me. And my body went into such a crisis mode that my health became affected on so many levels. And here I am, vegan, and I'm doing everything right. And all of a sudden, my body crashes, and I'm saying to myself, but I was doing everything right, like that betrayal that I talked about. And that's when it was a necessity. I had to sit because I literally felt like I was dying. And my ancestors called to me every time I walked past my altar. My ancestors said, you need to sit down. You need to rest. And I kept moving. Well, I got to get this done and I got to get. And finally, I said, I can't. I can't even move. And so that's when it became a necessity where I had to take that sacred rest and start to acknowledge and start to say to myself, how much time am I giving to others more than I'm giving to myself? How many times am I saying yes to the things that I need to say no to? And started to respect and honor myself. And I had to put a value on me because I didn't have a value. I had value in everything else and what I gave to everyone else, but what was I giving back to me? And that's when it became a necessity. I had to stop. And the body said, stop.
Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I tell people that, the body don't lie and it keeps score. And when we don't listen, we get dragged. I got dragged so many times, trying to, not trying to, but in a survival mode, thinking that I had to do this and I had to do that and I had to be this and be that. And after a while, you just don't you don't listen to your voice and you hear it screaming and it screams through dis-ease. It screams through sickness. It scream through burnout. And sometimes you have to be laid out. And I don't want to be laid out. I'm like, I'm at the point now that, and it's been for a while now that I'm like, I want to listen the first time, and for me, I never thought much, I was blessed back in the day when like 40 years ago, when I had my children, I had the elders around. I had a village, y'all. I never felt like a single mom because I had all of even though I didn't have my blood family, all of my girlfriends, their parents was my parents. So I had elders that would take care of my babies. And when I had to go back to work at 8 weeks, postpartum. And then when I pick up the baby, they had a food ready for me at the door for my dinner. So I had a village, always had a village. And I'm so grateful for that. Even having three sons and their fathers couldn't be fathers. I cried and I prayed. I'm like, God, please help me bring some men into their life because I can't teach them how to be a man. And the community came forth to pour into my sons and to make them be know what it is to be a man. I had that connection, this prayed for help and help came, and nowadays, now that I'm the elder, I see so many people doing it in isolation. They really feel that they do not have community. And I keep saying to them, we thrive in community, not in isolation. You can call forth the help. We don't have a choice, y'all, to say it's not there. We got to try to find a way to really pull that community together. 'Cause we need it more now than ever. Because too many of us is suffering in silence. And a lot of us don't even have a community that we can say exactly what's going on, the whole space for us with that. So I'm so grateful that I've been through on both sides. I had community raising my sons, my children. I'm grateful that now I can be encouraging that community now and be a part of that community. I'm here in South Carolina for my niece now with postpartum care because they say they have that story that they don't have community. I'm like, no, you got to have community. Even when you put your son and your kids into a basketball games, whatever, be a part of that community. If they're in school, go there and volunteer and be a part of that community so you can pull it together.
Right.
Because we need it now, y'all, more than ever. I can't say that enough.
Right,
I'm
right.
complete.
Give thanks. And I think, me coming up, I had adopted this whole narrative that I have to be independent. I can't rely on anybody. And I'm learning now to lean into community. And part of that too is that if you don't have community, you have to put in the work to build community. It just doesn't happen. And you have to allow that to happen and trust, right? Having that trust in your community. So I'm learning. And also I just want to share that, we talk about like our bodies putting us in check. And I'm going to share that like my body, like literally shut down. I ended up in the hospital for a week because I was just going, 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 going. Working at the school, coming home, seeing clients for virtual mental health therapy, and just, burning the candle at both ends as a single mother, working 12 hours a day and really not leaning into any community. And my body physically shut down. I was in the hospital for a week with sepsis. They're like, how do you end up here with sepsis? Like, this was when was this? 2022, I think, so not that old, right? Not that old. And relatively healthy, but because I wasn't caring for myself. So rest is important, so important and if we don't take it, our body will take it, right? Yeah.
And can I just add, Keisha, because I know I'm going off in the chat because you guys
Yeah, I
are
was
just
just about
so
to look. I can't
off.
keep up with you. All
Please,
right.
thank you so much for the panelists. But I just want to add that, it got to the point for me where I felt like if I did slow down, like I might like check out. Because when we build our bodies to just run even when there's no fuel in it, and then when we realize that we can stop and recover and our bodies start to recover, that's when, your body can begin to identify things it couldn't address because it's almost like we're running off adrenaline. So I'm just relating so much to, what you're saying because I had to really, realize that I have to honor my body. Like you have to listen to your body. Like if your legs say, hey, I'm done walking, take a break. If your eyes say, look, I'm heavy, like stop trying to push through all those things and listen to your internal biological clock because, the body be knowing, we can't run it like this machine. It needs times to reset and just plug in. So I had to slowly start my rest, when I got into the habit of being restful these past 3 years because I was like, my body been and went into shock if I just start resting overnight. I had to wean it into rest, which sounds crazy, but I come from a family where when you rest, you were lazy. And I had to get comfortable with resting. So this is so important that, we're in this room having these conversations and that's my share out. Thank you so much, all
Thank
of you.
Yes, I wanted to add to that with what she said too, because one challenge that I did have was at one point, which was unusual, because me coming from meditation and yoga and being able to quiet the body and the mind, there was a part in my life where sitting down felt dangerous for me, sitting down and being still. And I remember going into a sweat lodge and losing control and really having to get out. And the interesting thing with the sweat lodge is it represents the womb. So when you're in your mother's womb and it's a comfortable environment, you're able to be in there and you're able to get the rest and the nurture that you need in order to become this being that comes out. But I prided myself on being able to sit in meditation for hours and hours. And when I got in that sweat lodge, I lost control. and I felt uncomfortable, and I felt like sitting still was a problem because now my mind is all over the place. So I really resonate with what you're saying, like how we look at being still as being lazy or not productive or not doing something, but it's in those moments where you have to learn how to calm the mind, even stopping the mind from going and going and going. Because that was my thing. My thing was like my mind was just going and going and going. So now my body needed to move with it because it was like I couldn't calm it down. And it was the hardest thing to do, sitting with myself, sitting still, being calm, being at rest, and trusting my body to be there. So I appreciate what you said, sis. I'm complete.
Yeah, thanks. Miss Tia, welcome back.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, you know what I think about? I think that as we're in this world and we're in America, and as America is a do, produce, produce. And they kind of you come up as a child in the school district and schools and it's just you're a worker, a worker, a worker, a worker. And they never like even in from now I used to teach kindergarten. Kindergarten used to take naps, first grade used to take not anymore, not anymore. They just work, work, and work and work. And then once you go to school and then you graduate, you're expected to work and work and work. And so we have this not only and with us as black women, we have this thing where we have to work, but we got to be 10 times better than the other people. So
Mm-hmm.
we just working and working, and we get into this cycle of working and working and working, and we never take a break. We never take a break. That's why we have disease at a higher rate than anybody else because we have so much pressure on us as black women, and so I I I think that we have to step back, and I think that we're doing this now with this. Well, now I do see this now, a big change in us because we are the protesting people. We'll go out, we protest, and we fight for other people. We don't just fight for ourselves, but we fight for other people. But this time we like, we're gonna take a rest. We're gonna take care of ourselves. And I do see us starting to begin to take care of ourselves. So I'm so happy that we're moving into a new cycle of taking care of ourselves. And I'm done. That's it.
Thank you for that. Um, I see hands everywhere. Miss Erica, I know we haven't heard from you yet.
Hi, first I want to thank everybody for sharing. I'm resonating with everything, pretty much everything that's been expressed, and I'm being inspired by the things, even the things I don't resonate with. So, I just wanted to add to yes the pressure of society, especially living in the United States, with constantly having to produce, having to work. Even when we look to like being mentored by some gurus, I remember watching YouTube videos where they're just like, if you're not up at this time and if you're not working harder than everybody, those type of things that kind of like excite us, but also leading us closer to burnout. So for me, I think I arrived at realizing it physically and mentally at the same time. For me, it was more people pleasing. I realized that I was trying to produce a lot so people could see value in me, and I was trying to be a part of everything. So I felt, so people could feel like, that I could be there for them or be, some type of asset to them. So I had to recognize where I was doing that and seeing that I'm already worthy and valuable, even when I'm resting. So thank you guys so much for this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Mama Moot.
Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate about how we are doing better, y'all. We are vibing on our feminine side and not our masculine side, because the masculine have created a world that is out of control, that's falling to pieces, and the feminine is what we need to lean on now, and that's softness, that's listening from within, that preparing to be happy and knowing that what that is. So yes, we are doing a whole lot better because we're here, even being here you break in that cycle of the masculine um survival mode. So let's we can give ourselves some hugs for that.
Yes, thank you. While you have the floor, I'll pose the next question, and that is in line with what we were talking about, even in terms of like rest as resistance. So what does rest resistance look like to you, or how would you define that?
Rest and resistance looks like for me it's listen from within and giving myself whatever I need no matter what. No matter what that is. And we've been talking about that over and over about listening to ourselves and what that looks like and feels like. We deserve to rest. We deserve to just, take our time with ourselves, you know. First of all, connecting with our breath. Our breath is everything, y'all. Once we start breathing, we're out of here. Just
Right.
taking a deep breath in and being present with that connection is so life-giving. And after we breathe in and out and connect with ourselves, we can really feel the clearance for what's next for us. And filling your own cup, giving yourself what you need no matter what. We always feel like, I know for myself, I used to feel guilty
Mhm.
about taking away from the time from the kids and for everybody else to do me. But now I'm like, no, I must order my life, my prayers, what I need, and then everybody and everything else. I had to post that around the walls in my house, like the temple walls in Egypt, so
Mhm.
I can get it in my head and practice it and release the guilt,
Right.
you know? And once I start doing that, everybody got my kids got what they needed from me. Because children, they are demanding, they're gonna get what they need from you, whether or not you are able to give it or not. They're gonna get your attention all the time. But
Mhm.
once I started ordering my life like that, and once I put them to bed, I went to bed right after them. I got up with the sun and going down with the sun. And I'm still like that today. If I'm gonna hang out late after the sun go down, I have to take a nap and prepare. So you get into this ritual, of getting up with the sun and going down with the sun and connecting with nature, y'all. We need to connect with nature. If you're climbing, if you know, for myself, I know at this age I need the sun. I'm gonna make sure I get to follow the sun and not, you know, stay in the cold where I know my body's gonna be cramping and all the layers gonna be getting on my nerve. I can't do the bare coat no more and all the layers. I felt like a baby. You know how you swallow a baby and they're trying to get out? That's the way I feel. I'm like, let me out. And I feel so free when I'm out and I don't have to put on the layers. I feel so free. So like they say you're adult once and a child twice. Well,
Mhm.
now I'm wilding out as a child, but in a good way because I can give myself what I need. But so the question is, are we willing to go there for ourselves, for you? Because nobody knows but you what you feel inside. I'm complete.
Ashe. The whole idea of rest being resistant, you know, the fact that it has to be resistance is crazy because it should be normal, and as you were speaking about you needing to rest so you can be present for everyone else, I also think that you're modeling to your kids what normal is. And if you're going, 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 you're teaching them the same narrative, right? That same story. And as a cycle breaker, as you said, you lead by example, right? And by you resting, you're teaching them the value of rest and how to care for themselves. Yeah. How about
I
you,
just want to
Monique?
add one more thing. Any mothers on the call, imagine when you go and hanging out and you up all night and you come in wee hours in the morning and guess what? Them kids done slept all night and they are fully charged and they coming at you. You imagine how that felt? You're like, oh no, not yet. I need my coffee. I need a nap. I need something. They don't care. They slept all night. They
Mm-hmm.
ready for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lesson. When I saw that, I'm like, I got it. I have to go down with the sun and get up with the sun, just like I'm teaching them. And
Right,
if I
right.
want to hang out, I have to take a nap and I have to get a babysitter so I can sleep later and they still be covered. So it's all the answers and the solution all in the same room. I'm complete.
Yeah, my son literally opened my eyeballs one time. I was trying to sleep late. He came in and no, you can't do that. That's not happening. Monique, do you want to add?
Yes. So rest resistance, what that looked like for me.
Hmm.
Um, it looked like me going against myself. It looked like me staying up when I know I should be going to sleep. And I had to train myself to um create rituals for me, create time for me where certain tasks needed to be done at a certain time. You know, like Mama said, coming up with the sun and going down with the sun. I had to learn how to do that because prior to that, I didn't get up when the sun got up. I got up when the kids got up, and they didn't get up when the sun got up. And so I had to prepare myself to prepare for them and prepare myself to prepare for the day. And then during the course of that day, um, through that morning preparation, being able to build everything around it so that by the time that the sun sets, that I had that time to build in the rest that I needed instead of resisting it. I found myself resisting it a lot when I was younger because I felt like I had the energy. I felt like, oh, I could stay up all night and do this, and you know,
Right.
and it caught up with me as I got older, as I became elder, and recognize that my time is valuable even during those evening times, during those times where the sun is down. That is valuable time. That's when I can reclaim my body back. That's when I can reclaim all the things that I've done in the course of the day and be able to rebuild that and then condition myself to go into the sleep realm and get the information I needed in order to get up at that sunrise and do it all over again. You know, so I resisted a lot in my youth, and now I honor, and now I pay homage, you know, to the rituals and the times, and I recognize even when I started doing the Kemetic yoga, how much of our ancestors spent time in doing what was beneficial to them and to be able to feed back into the community. So when I found that I was going to bed anytime I couldn't get back the way I needed to get back. But when I started to build in those rituals in that time where poured into myself, then I had more reserves to pour into others. And I was able to pay attention and receive what message that was out there coming from others. So it's that rest resistance will keep you in fight or flight all the time. Whereas when you start to build these rituals for yourself, you start to build in and a solid foundation for how you move from day to day. So
Right.
I'm complete.
Give thanks. And that constant fight or flight is damaging to our nervous system, not just mentally, but physically. I'm gonna read a couple of comments from the chat. Zola says, breaking generational curses by teaching the children to rest. I get nervous when I see my oldest operating from that hyper independence. Yes, yes, because she is modeling who I was when I was raising her. Now I'm trying to teach her my healing journey. Yes, definitely. And Tia says, rest as resistance is even resting when others press you to move. Absolutely. Yeah, thanks. And Camilla, welcome, welcome. I
Oh,
gave you a little introduction before. I think you were here, but you weren't fully connected yet. So
right.
you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi everyone. I'm Camille. I am a financial coach. I help people learn how money works and help them and guide them into putting a plan together that benefits them. And I'm also a personal brand photographer, Focus Cam Photography LLC. I put all that there, but definitely I was just talking to a teammate. I was saying, I like everything that I do it involves helping people. So I like that space. Um, as far as sleeping, Keisha knows me so well. I was just up here the other morning, up to 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to work on a project because my brain is scattered and I got 10 million things to do. And I was doing everything at once. And I was like, I can't stop until I finish. But my body it was almost like it was like pulling me down, like, we need you to go to sleep. And I was like, I guess I'll go to sleep. Um, and I did get that from my parents. My mom was always constantly going. So I love that we're talking about this. And actively, I had to handle a situation with my son, so that's why I came on a little late. I'm a little drained. I don't know if it sounds like it, so I'm very excited to be here. I may not sound like it right now, but it definitely after just to give a little insight, my son is on the spectrum. He had a little fit, and those fits are getting a bit more dramatic because he's about 5'11". Well, no, he's not 5'11". He's like 5'9". And yeah, he's running rampant. So all that to just say, definitely rest is important. As soon as I get off of this, I'm going to take a nap. I got things to do, but I'm going to take a nap because body came through and said, nah, we're gonna take a little we're gonna rest a little bit. So I definitely, as I'm learning these concepts, want to pass that on to my kids. And well, they're not kids, they'll be 19 on Tuesday. And but still pass it on to them because they're still my babies. Yeah. Always love this space.
Right. And just realizing too, it's counterproductive, right? We think, like we're gonna push, 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 but how effective are we when we're pushing through? How productive are we really being when we're tired and not able to put our 100% into something? So it is productive to rest because we work much better. If that's our goal is to work, even though I don't know if that should be the goal, but if the goal is to work, we still need to rest to be able to be, efficient, you know?
And what I learned through ancient Chinese, the Chinese, they have really mastered taking care of this body is that when we sleep after 10 o'clock to like 5 o'clock in the morning, our body is healing. You know, our body go through this process of healing and repairing. Our digestive system is getting ready and processing. But when we go hard and stay awake during those hours, we delay that process, the natural order of the body that it needs to stop and rest. So we really created more losses than wins when we push past night hours. For people who
Mhm.
work during the night hours, you could see they off. My son, he's a night person, and he really had to come to terms because you could do anything up to 30, y'all. After 30, your body's like, no, we ain't doing this no more. We're not doing it that way no more. It's gonna scream at you and lay you out until you pay attention to something. I celebrated myself because I had to wake him up every day to get him through high school. So I celebrated myself. So now he's past his 30s. He's like, Mom, I can't do it no more. I'm like, hello, I was trying to tell you before, but the body will make you stop. So
Mhm.
it's a if everybody can really take notes and start trying to shut down at least by 11 o'clock at night and sleep
Mhm.
from 11 to 5, it'll be a plus.
Mhm.
Because that's when the body needs to heal and it needs to you to be in deep rest so it can heal. I'm complete.
Ashe, Ashe. I read somewhere there was like a meme or something that they said that we take care of our phones and better than we do our bodies. And we see that phone battery, we don't even let it get to zero. If it's under 50, we plugging it in and charging it because we know it ain't gonna work once it runs down. So why do we do that to ourselves? We try to keep that battery at 100 as much as possible. So we need to treat ourselves that way. The next question I have is, aside from burnout, how do you recognize when you need that rest? Like, we don't want to wait till we get burned out. And I know a lot of us talked about like when it became essential was when our body shut down. So before that happens, what are some of the signs that, you can recognize to care for yourself?
For me,
I
when
I can
I'm
tell you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So for me, when it starts with the mind, for me, the mental. When my mind is racing and I'm thinking I'm in control of things by feeding those tapes over and over, I know I need to stop. I need to stop, disconnect, and go within. That's the first sign for me. It's the mental chatter. Those things that I don't find peace within, and I'm worrying about things. And once I start in that worry mode, I'm like, nope, I gotta back up. I gotta surrender this. I gotta work with myself, you know. And when I feel my body feel starting to feel tight and tight in the shoulders and my neck or any kind of pain, pains for me is pay attention inward now. So
Yes.
whether that be a headache or a knee ache or a backache, I'm stopping and paying attention now. I'm like, okay, what we need, what you want me to do? You want me to stretch? You want me to drink some more water? You want me to give you some broth? What do you want? I'm talking to myself, y'all. So those little clues that I get, and when I speak to them, and the pain go away, I'm like, okay, we good now. And the thing that I teach too, I teach on seasonal living. When you are in a birthing phase and you're bleeding, you have this natural cycle that that when you get your period, you're in your winter season. Why winter? Because your body want to stop. It don't want to keep going. It don't want to serve nobody but you. And sometimes you need to cradle up and just hold yourself and just let everything release from your womb. That's the winter season. Every month we go through all four seasons: winter, summer, spring, and fall, right? So when you birth and you got that clock that you could follow, I coach a lot of women. If they prepare in their fall season for their winter season, a lot of change happen. When you're in menopause, you got to listen, you got to pay real close attention because a lot of us get stuck because we haven't followed this natural clock when we was bleeding, that now we stuck in winter, we stuck in fall, we hurting all the time. Again, pain means pay attention inward now. So the more in your menopause, it means pause, menopause, pause, stop, listen, where you get dragged. So in your menopause stage, the more you pay attention to every pain inward now, the less you'll stay out of the winter season when you get laid out, or the fall season when you get all shittery and anxiety. And you're being more spring and summer and feel good in your body without the pain. That's the protocol. Stick to the seasons. Check your body. What I teach, I ask women right away that know me. I'm like, okay, what I could hear what season they in by what they say to me. And I say to them, what are you doing to answer to the small pains now before you get laid out? That's the protocol. I'm complete.
Yes, thanks.
Ashe, Ashe. I loved all of that. Ashe. I can tell you for me, I get clumsy. I lose things. That's what forces me. That's the prelude to sit down and take a minute. I get forgetful. And so that's the prelude to say, like, that was before the body shuts down. It's almost like I'm connecting somewhere where it's saying, Monique, you need to take a minute. You lost your keys, sit down, think, process. Because if you don't, we're going to take you down. And that's what happened prior to me, my body speaking to me. I didn't listen to those cues. You know, sometimes we get these messages that come to us and we ignore them because we're so busy moving. And for me, it was okay, I got to get this done. I got to get to this event at a certain time. So, let me hurry up and do this. And meanwhile, I can't find this. I can't. And there's so many different little things that will show up and say to me, okay, you found your keys. Now you can't find your bag. Okay, now you can't do this. So, what is it telling you? Sit down, relax. Maybe it's not, maybe you shouldn't leave right now. And that was what was happening to me. It was little things that were I was missing out on because I wasn't paying attention to when I was supposed to sit down and take a moment, take a minute to breathe, take a second to do this. You're on go, you're moving too fast, your mind is racing. You feel like you got to grab all of these things at one time and rush out the door, where there could be accident somewhere that you're avoiding because you can't find your keys at that moment, and spirit is telling you to rest. Spirit will tell me before my body tells me. And if I don't listen to spirit and I don't use my discernment for the things around me, then it will show up in my body. So that's what was happening. I was getting cues, but I wasn't paying attention to them. And it wasn't until I started to pay attention to them where I started to say, okay, I'm not rushing to go here. I'm not rushing to do this. I'm not going to break my neck. I'm going to take my time and I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to breathe through it and I'm going to know whether it's right for me. And it may be a thing where it says, you know what, maybe you don't go anywhere today. Maybe you sit in the house and you relax and everything that's out there will wait. And if they can't wait, it will go on without you and you will be fine. And I had to tell myself that you will be fine. And so it's those little things. If I ignore those things, that's when the body shows me. So they almost work succinct together. It's like first spirit will talk to me and spirit will say, you don't want to listen. We done lost your keys. We done lost your pocketbook. We done did all these things and you don't want to listen. Now it shows up in the body. And that's how it usually works for me. I'm
Ashe,
complete.
Ashe. I agree with all of the above from what both of you said. I know some of my cues, just to be really concrete, is like if I'm tired, I'm gonna rest. If I feel overwhelmed, I'm going to rest. If I feel like I want to start biting people, I get real cranky. Everybody gets on my nerves. Like, oh, they asked me a question. Why are they asking me? I need to rest, right? It's not them, it's me. Um, but I love all of it. So Zola, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Zola said my favorite thing is to say nope, because I know my limits and I will not do more than what I desire to do. That no is powerful. Definitely. Some signs I experience when I need to rest are loss of memory. Absolutely. I can relate to that. That resonates with me. Dehydration and gut issues. Definitely those aches and pains too. Yes, yes, yes. Even if it's light, go to sleep so the body can heal and recover. When we rest, the body is working to heal us. Don't ignore that intuition. You'll regret ignoring it every time. And to hear your intuition, you have to be well rested. Yeah, and you have to slow down and be quiet. You can't, I always tell people, you can't hear what I'm saying if you're talking while I'm talking. You have to be silent in order to hear what I'm saying. And it's the same thing. If we want to hear, we got to be silent and be still. Where am I at? Those says, yes, I get annoyed too when I'm not well rested. Notice this when working in early childcare and had to check myself quick. Children deserve us to be well rested, just like Mama Moot stated. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
What I do notice also is that things will repeat in cycles. So if you didn't take that rest that next time, it's going to show up for you again, always constantly reminding you that you need to take that rest. So I started to pay attention to the cycles too. Just in, oh my God, I went through that before. Why am I going through this again? What is it trying to say to me? And that's when I get the cue to, oh, okay, this is what I need to rest.
Right.
So it's paying attention to the cycles and looking at these things. And when you take those rests more often, you will recognize the cycle as it is happening and you will stop those things from happening.
That was actually the next question you just answered about the cycles. And what I tell my clients all the time is that it's easier to avoid falling in a hole than to fall in a hole and try to dig out. So even if you don't think you need rest, put that in your schedule. Like put those breaks in your schedule. Don't wait till you need it to say now, like, I got to restore myself, do it as a preventive measure. Yeah. Miss Tia, I see you have your hand up.
Yes. Um, I think that also we have to remember, which I think we sometimes forget, is we're in a state of bombardment.
Mhm.
So we have so many things coming at us all at one time. Like when we were growing up, we didn't have, video games and uh advertisements on the board and advertisements on your phone, and all of this stuff just coming at you all the time. And we have to really remind ourselves, you need to take a break from this. You need to rest from all of these things. You're hearing things, you're seeing things. Things are, it's just so much going on. I'll call you back, Dawn. I'm on the Zoom. Um, and there's so much stuff going on that we because I think because we didn't grow up like that, we we forget. We forget. So I think it's very important for us to remember to quiet our spirit, to quiet our minds, to quiet our mouths, to quiet the TV, to quiet, just have a quiet room around you. And we really, have to make time for those things, because then you have, your family, you have your friends, you have your, whatever, your work, all of that stuff bombarding. You have to really, really take time, put it in your schedule to do this. And I'm done.
Ashe, thank you for that. Mama Mo, do you want to add to these cycles or following and being in tune with nature? Anything that you want to add in regards to that?
I totally agree with she's saying, because like I said, I had it different. It was different for me raising my children, and I always relate everything I do to parenting. But that's my journey. I speak from what I experienced, and I feel so honored to be here in my approaching 70 and be able to hold space for the parents, for the healers to heal, and for everyone, because we do have so much coming at us. And for me, I love my sacred quiet, quiet. Even coming here to support my niece, I had to tell them I need to shut down at a certain time. I don't start my day to a certain time, and I can help you in between that time. And I have to go to the gym 3 times a week because I need community. You got to have your whole outlet of your self-care present, you know? Sometimes I have to, being on these Zooms all the time, I have to take the electronics out of my room where I'm sleeping, because I need, again, to go back into the womb, the quietness, the darkness, the silence. I love, being in neighborhoods where it's really quiet, no cars bumping, no people over your head and stuff like that, because we need to return to silence to heal. And it's a challenge, and we have to take that challenge on, because we do have so many things coming at us with these electronics, and people that's hooked on the phone and can't disconnect, and using it without any protection. You got to have protection for all these electronics that's coming through us. It's affecting our children. I see babies riding in a stroller with a electronic in their hand. We have to know how to unplug and do something else with the children. Teach them how to let them play outside. Teach them how to breathe. We have to go return to the basics, commune with nature. This world have us so isolated with all of the fears that's going on too. You have to unplug the TV, unplug the electronics, and find a way to enjoy the stillness. I remember when my kids was growing up, we used to play Sacred Silence. I'm like, I'm gonna challenge all of y'all to be quiet for 10 minutes. And it was so hard, y'all, but I was loving it. I had my alarm, my timer on. I'm like,
Okay.
nope, it's not 10 minutes yet. It's a 10 minutes, mommy. It's a 10 minutes. No, not yet. We have to do that with ourselves now.
Mm-hmm.
Work with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
See if you can unplug. See if you can have a shut in by yourself for a day without nobody making you do it.
Mm-hmm.
I often tell women, people that, when you go into the hospital, you have to surrender, and you sick. You surrender to strangers to go through every hole in your body to help you to live. But yet some of us can't even do that for ourselves. Take yourself and nurture every part of your body so you can regulate your own nervous system, reset yourself, and heal yourself from within. And some people like, I ain't touching myself. What? But when you go to the hospital and you're sick, you allow strangers to go through every hole in your body, and they're not gentle, y'all. Imagine that. I can't do hospitals because I get flashbacks from all of this, but I say I can't do hospital, but now I'm at the place if I have to go in there and hold space for my loved ones, I will. But I want to take care of this body, so I don't need to go there. I have health insurance. I don't need to use it just to get my physical once a year. I'm grateful for that because I vow to know this body and listen to this body now. I don't need strangers to do it for me. Let's
A lot of
think
people
about
can't
that.
say that, and you had shared with us before we started your age. I don't want to do
Oh,
that,
I'm gonna
but
be 70 May 2nd,
yes, and for
and
you to
I
be
am
able to say
loving
that at
it.
70 is amazing because not too many people at 50 can say what you just said, let alone 70,
I
you
am
know.
so grateful,
Yeah.
so grateful.
Give
And
thanks to
I
the
want to
land.
be 100 years old and feeling the same way. So I have work to do.
You will be. Not even you want to be, right?
I will
Speak it
be.
into
Yes.
existence. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The only thing I have to add to that is pay yourself first. As they say, like when you do a budget, pay yourself first. You got to budget your time the same way. Pay yourself first. Make sure you put that time in that calendar for yourself before you do, as my parents would say, the people's work, right? You gonna put that time in for yourself first. Yes, yeah. So, Camilla had added, ask yourself, are you busy getting ahead or busy getting by? And Zola, who had to leave, she said, Mama Moot, speak in it. Love me some peace and quiet. I do not enjoy noise in my home. And then she said she had to go. She didn't want to leave. Love this. Thank you for carrying such a safe space for all of us. Um, and Camilla says, hey, Taurus. 70 where? Right, exactly. 70 where? So we are a little bit over time, actually, and we do this all the time. We're going to honor time and we're just going to close out. And if you guys can share one affirmation or restorative practice, just something that people can take away and add to their toolkit.
Okay, I'll start with just something that I do um, in the morning, which I have just in my beginning of the day, getting up at 5 a.m. and honoring quiet for at least an hour, and whether that is me doing some sort of yoga movement. I do comedic yoga, just getting some movement in my body and then paying homage to the ancestors. But it's all done in silent reverence, and then I do libations in the morning for them and set set the tone of my day with going into the mirror and just looking at myself and loving on myself and thanking the Most High for carrying me through my sleep realm and bringing me into the now, but giving thanks. And I do that every morning, and that sets the tone for my day. That allows me to be able to walk in peace, even in this crazy New York streets. I've been able to have calm walk with me. So that's been my thing, is making intentional movements and rituals into honoring myself and honoring what the day is going to look like. And that way I'm responsible and I'm in charge of what comes in my direction. And so that's important for me. And I would say for the ladies, make yourself a priority. I know we say that our children are our world, but you got to be your world. And the one thing that I had stopped saying was that um, I live for my children. No, I live for myself. I live for myself first, so I can be a vessel that my children can be able to see their worth. And we have to start putting our worth first. And I tell a lot of mothers that, oh, my children are my everything. No, you have to be your everything first. Your children will come after. They will come after. So you
Mhm.
have to make yourself a priority. So that's the affirmation I give with my ladies is, you are the priority. You are the medicine. You are the healer. You are the guide, and you are the power within that emanates to everybody else. Ashe.
Ashe.
Okay.
Yeah, I say, oh, I second all of that. For me, I'm the type of person I needed a lot of different disciplines, y'all, to really get to this place. I was a piece of work and still have work to do. But one of the discipline I love so much is being Reiki. Reiki is your life force energy. And you remember, if you can think about back in the day where the elders used to, lay hands on people and just put their hands together and you can feel that energy. I want everybody to practice. We are all Reiki, y'all. We just have some shadows blocking it. You know how the sun, the clouds block the sun and the sunshine anyway. That's how we are in our lives. So I would love for everyone to just practice rubbing your hands together and blessing every part of your body, thanking it for working together to keeping you together. You know, you ever think about your ears and all the parts in your ears? That's all parts of your body inside your ears. Inside our hands have all parts of our bodies, the bottom of our feet, y'all. I've just learned something about the feet. They said your feet is the outlet of death. You can die through your feet. If your feet is not soft, and it will show you where the body is breaking down. And when I heard about death beginning in the feet, I'm like, oh my God, you know how we rely on our feet for everything. And for me, I had this in my survival mode. I used to wear one pair of shoes to wear out so I can get the kids' shoes and stuff in your feet and shoes that for cuteness and not for comfort. I was like, wow. And now I have bunions and pigeon toes. I'm like, I bless my feet now. I make sure I soak my feet every night and say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. I thank you to my feet. Take that time and use your hands, your healing hands, to bless every part of your body and watch how that changes your life totally. I'm complete.
Ashe, Ashe. Anybody else want to share a practice or affirmation or anything before we go?
Just an affirmation. I just wanted to say that we are the answer to the prayer that we've been praying for. And that if we continue what we're doing, we're going to be all right.
Ashe.
Complete.
I don't know how to follow that one, y'all. I don't know. That was all so powerful and beautiful. Yeah, I think my my advice is just to honor where you are, and release that pressure about where you should be or how you should show up. And you just honor where you are, and where you are is where you're supposed to be. And we talked about rituals, and those are important, but also allowing yourself grace. So I know with my rituals, sometimes I block off time, but I don't always define what I'm going to do at that time. So sometimes I might go for a walk, sometimes I might color, but it's my time. So just making sure that you have your time, and then it'll shape, right? It doesn't have to be a perfect thing, in the beginning, but you'll shape what is meant for you. Yeah. Camille is saying, what do you say, Camille? Camille has a lot here.
My new my new pastime of crocheting. That's how I know I was blocked all this time because I haven't gotten back to it, and I'm doing that today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just finding what resonates with you and what soothes your soul, and just lean into that. Yeah.
That's it.
Anything else before we close out? Any closing words? I feel like we should end with just like honoring the breath and just taking a moment to be still and quiet, and um, you know, and it's not about so much how you breathe, but just being aware of your breath and giving thanks to the breath. The body breathes itself. There's nothing you have to do. It's nothing you have to think about, and just allowing the breath to flow naturally. And just allowing this life force and energy to flow through us, knowing that we have the power within us. Ashe. Well, thank you all again for sharing space.
Thank
You
you. I'm
know,
so honored. This is
I am
such a
honored
beautiful,
to be in
beautiful
community
way
with you
to
Yeah,
all.
experience the afternoon.
it most certainly is.
Yes.
And I always
Thank
say,
you so
thank
much.
yourself first because you're making the time to care for yourself, and that is a big deal.
Ashe. Ashe.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, community. I love community.
Okay,
And we
until
got
next
this.
time. Yes, we got this. Peace and blessings, everyone.
Peace and blessings.
Peace